our distinguished witnesses today and all of the natural persons who've come to participate in today's proceeding. The first thing that I want to point out is that the Citizens United did not enlarge the free speech rights of any citizen in the United States, not even CEOs or corporate executives who could spend already whatever they wanted as independent expenditures under Buckley versus Vallejo. All that Citizens United did was to transform every corporate treasury in America into a potential political slush fund and thereby authorize and empower the CEOs of the corporations to spend whatever they wanted of other people's money in the corporate treasuries in political campaigns. And this declaration did transform, to my understanding, 2 centuries of jurisprudential understanding of what a corporation is. You can go back to Chief Justice John Marshall's opinion in 1819 in the Dartmouth College versus Woodward case, where he said that a corporation is an artificial entity, invisible, intangible, existing only in contemplation of law, possessing only the rights conferred upon it by the state legislature and not the constitutional rights of the people. And yet, the Roberts Court in Citizens United endowed private corporations, these invisible, intangible, artificial entities, with the political rights of the people, essentially arming the CEOs with the power to spend other people's money, as Justice Brandeis termed it, in political campaigns. And for all of the reasons stated by several of the witnesses, that has occasioned a dramatic change in the character and the quality of American politics. Now, I favor a constitutional amendment for the same reason that I support all the constitutional amendments that have reversed reactionary jurisprudence by the Supreme Court. That's how we got women's suffrage in the 19th Amendment, which toppled the Supreme Court's decision in Minor versus Happersett, saying that women did not get the right under the 14th or 15th Amendment. The 14th Amendment and the 15th and the 13th, of course, reversed the Supreme Court's reactionary decision in the Dred Scott case before the Civil War. It's how we got the 26th Amendment. It's how we got the 24th Amendment. Most of our amendments have been democracy deepening, suffrage enlarging, democracy perfecting amendments where the people have to overturn pinched and reactionary understandings of the Supreme Court. But until we get there, I wanted to take up an issue that comes out of Citizens United, because Justice Kennedy's conceit in his majority decision is that the corporations are speaking for the shareholders. The corporations derive their First Amendment political rights from the First Amendment rights of the human beings who actually own stock in the corporation. But there's a problem, which is that the corporations are spending all of this money and putting money into political campaigns and dark money channels and so on without ever consulting the shareholders themselves. And in fact, in most cases, not even notifying the shareholders, and they've been doing everything in their power to fight in both the SEC and the FEC efforts to get just notice to people of how their money in the corporation is being spent. I introduced a measure which became part of H.R. 1, which I call Shareholders United. And Shareholders United says that no corporation shall be allowed to spend any money in politics until you have first notified the shareholders of the proposal and they have authorized in advance by majority vote that their money be spent in a political campaign. And I'm wondering if each of you, if you could go quickly and forgive us because we've got our 5-minute stricture here, but would you agree that as long as we're living under the regime of Citizens United, that the shareholders should have the right to be apprised of proposed political spending by corporations of their money, and they should have the right to vote on it? And I know there's an argument that it should have to be 100% vote, but at the very least, there should be a majority vote before the corporation goes ahead and spends their money. And I could start with you, Madam Chair.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely, and as you know, more than 1 million people have requested the SEC to issue a rule to do exactly what you're suggesting.
Professor Smith, you agree?
No, this is a complex question of corporate governance, and there are many things corporations do, including things that affect politics, that they don't require shareholder approval for.
Okay, and Professor, to respond.
wholeheartedly endorse your bill. I think shareholders should have the right to consent to corporate political spending, and that would bring American law in line with the UK, where shareholders in UK companies do have the right to pre-approve corporate political spending.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Raskin.
I yield back, Mr. Chairman.